Red Bull have taken the covers off their 2023 car livery, with the RB19's colours having been put on show in New York City. The full details of the new Red Bull are likely to be kept under wraps until pre-season testing begins in Bahrain on February 23rd, with the team following Haas's lead and opting for a livery launch on a show car. While we didn't learn much about their actual 2023 car, we did learn a lot about their future engine partner, which could mean a massive change in direction for the team. So let's take a look at the New York car launch, what we learned, and the return of a major player back into Formula One. Red Bull reveal Ford partnership. Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez were joined on stage by reserve driver Daniel Ricciardo and team principal Christian Horner for the unveiling of the new car's color scheme at Manhattan's Classic Car Club, with 3 American races scheduled for 2023. The team teased a blank slate ahead of their 2023 launch, but the livery itself remains consistent with previous years. The announcement comes on the heels of Ford confirming their return to Formula One as a power unit supplier in 2026, when the sport's new technical regulations take effect, with a focus on fully sustainable fuels and a different engine configuration. Ford and Red Bull have since confirmed that their new partnership will begin with the 2026 season, with the American manufacturer collaborating on Red Bull powertrains to develop the team's new engines in accordance with the new technical regulations. Red Bull has made no secret of its desire for a manufacturer partner to provide technical input and potentially badge the project's F1 power unit for 2026. This is the start of a thrilling new chapter in Ford's motorsport story that began with my great-grandfather who won a race that helped launch our company. Ford is returning to the pinnacle of the sport, bringing Ford's long tradition of innovation, sustainability, and electrification to one of the world's most visible stages. Ford cited 2 key factors in its decision to return to F1: the sport's growth, particularly in the United States since Liberty Media's takeover, and the growing role of electric power in the 2026 power units. F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali, who was present at Ford's announcement on Friday, praised the company's decision to commit to Grand Prix racing. Domenicali stated, "The news today that Ford is coming to Formula One from 2026 is great for the sport, and we're excited to see them join the incredible automotive partners already in Formula One. Ford is a global brand with an incredible heritage in racing and the automotive world, and they see the huge value that our platform provides for over 500 million fans around the world. Our commitment to be net zero carbon by 2030 and to introduce sustainable fuels in the F1 cars from 2026 is also an important reason for their decision to enter F1. We believe that our sport provides the opportunity and reach unlike any other, and we cannot wait for the Ford logo to be racing around F1's iconic circuits from 2026. Work is to start immediately with Red Bull in helping develop the new engine, which will include a 350 kilowatt electric motor." How Ford came ahead while Porsche fell through. Ford is expected to contribute to the advancement of combustion engine development, as well as areas such as battery cell, electric motor technology, and other software elements. Red Bull team boss Christian Horner saw the Ford partnership as a significant boost to his team's long-term goals. And the freedom at the heart of union is why Milton Keynes and Michigan believe they can make the romance work on their 3rd try. Of course, it wasn't supposed to be this way. 8 months ago, the T's and I's were crossed on a press release confirming Red Bull's collaboration with Porsche for the implementation of the 2026 engine regulations. This historic announcement was scheduled for the Austrian GP, the team's home race. The announcement, however, would never leave the drafts folder. Concerns had grown that Christian Horner and his team would not be given the autonomy required to maintain the structure that was about to deliver Max Verstappen his 2nd driver's title in a row and return Red Bull to the top of the Constructors' Championship for the first time since 2013. Then, in September, it was revealed that the deal had finally fallen through. Horner alluded to the culture clash, stating that Red Bull has always been a self-sufficient team. The Brit was speaking at a time when the newly formed Red Bull Powertrains division was about to test a 2026 spec engine. And the late Red Bull co-founder Dietrich Mateschitz was in declining health. Major investment to secure the long-term future of the F1 project has always been the preferred option in that context. As a result, after the Porsche deal fell through, speculation shifted to a rekindling of the partnership with Honda, and now we have confirmation of a technical alliance with Ford. What Red Bull brings to Ford. Ford checks all the boxes for Red Bull, and vice versa. F1 is experiencing a global popularity surge thanks to Netflix. It has finally broken into the American market with a debut race in Las Vegas this year, joining existing races in Miami and Austin, Texas. That growing popularity in the United States is why Andretti Autosport is buzzing about F1 and has bolstered its credentials for any nascent entry by partnering with General Motors. F1's goal of being carbon neutral by 2030 further helps sell the dream to the Detroit boardrooms as they bring the inherent contradiction of 2-ton-plus all-electric trucks to market. Racing in the top flight will be perceived to be in line with that sustainability push beginning in 2026, when fuels will be fully sustainable and the electric capacity of the hybrid powertrain will be increased. When combined with the old adage, win on Sunday, sell on Monday, which Ford stands a very good chance of doing from the start thanks to the partnership with Red Bull, any major F1 presence has real commercial value. Why Ford is so appealing for Red Bull? Then there's the reason Ford appeals to Red Bull, with what it will and will not bring to the table being equally important. Writing a large check is a good place to start. Porsche was planning to invest $50 million in Red Bull Advanced Technologies and support the powertrains division over a 10-year period. Ford will not spend as much money as that setup would have required. Instead, it is thought to be investing solely in the power unit program. In exchange, expect the famous blue oval to appear on the engine cover of future Red Bull creations, as well as prominent Ford faces to appear at all major races and have their quotes included at the bottom of key Red Bull press releases. However, team principals Horner and Helmut Marko will not be pushed to the sidelines to accommodate their American counterparts, as Porsche intended by instilling its own trusted leaders. Red Bull has no desire for that level of bureaucracy, which will only slow its response to the threat posed by Mercedes and Ferrari and dilute the lean management structure that has yielded so much success since 2005. Ford has previous experience with hands-off support. See the World Rally Championship, where it is associated with Malcolm Wilson's top-tier M Sport team, whose cars, as it happens, also proudly display the Red Bull logos. The development is led by the team, not by America's largest automaker. It is content to defer and let the engineering experts get on with their work relatively unhindered, and as a result, it achieves success. This lack of intervention is precisely what the Red Bull F1 team wants. Porsche's approach was not fundamentally incorrect for Grand Prix racing, but it was completely incompatible with the success of that particular technical partnership. This is not to say that Ford will have no involvement in Red Bull powertrains. Rather, it will have a much lighter hand than Stuttgart desired. Expect Ford's experience with relevant technology to carry over completely. And this relative freedom should not raise concerns that Ford is about to repeat past mistakes in Formula One. Famously, prior to Red Bull purchasing the Jaguar-branded team in the early 2000s, Detroit management was studying the spreadsheets and had no idea why millions were being paid to a Mr. Eddie Irvine. Furthermore, F1 is no longer a niche European sport that Ford will try to use to modernize the image of a sub-brand specializing in leather and wood-trimmed saloon cars. This time, the project will be on the radar of the American top brass, who will grant Red Bull the freedom it has long sought. Horner announces fan liveries for US Grand Prix. Aside from the Ford partnership news, another major headline was the livery. However, it was not the livery that was displayed at the event, which featured Red Bull's signature colors and designs. Instead, it was Horner's announcement that the team would hold a Make Your Mark competition, inviting fans to design different liveries for the races in Miami, Austin, and Las Vegas. Horner explained that submissions would be judged by a panel before a winner was announced, with the honor of their design on the RB19 for a Grand Prix. This is very much about getting the fans involved in the design and look of the car, Horner explained. For the 3 US races that we have this year, for the first time ever, we're going to get the fans involved to create the livery for those 3 races. It's going to be a competition. It's a huge opportunity, and we've thought long and hard about it. We know it's what people want to see, to get involved, and this is your chance to be able to do that. For the first US race in May in Miami, the competition opens, I think, today, and it's a chance to get involved and come up with some interesting liveries. There'll be then a panel of judges, and we'll pick out the best and most striking ones for these 3 races. What are your thoughts on Red Bull's car launch? Were you disappointed that they did not reveal their actual 2023 design? How will the team's partnership with Ford affect them in 2026 and beyond? Please let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking it and subscribing. Be sure to click the bell icon to be notified of future uploads. Thanks for watching.